in and try to overlook them like we did the Bucs last week, we're going to be home next week. For more on the Panthers, let's send it over to Chris Myers.
Well, Aaron, tight end Greg Olsen did not play in the earlier 2 meetings because of that surgically repaired right foot, but he's giving it a go today and expects to have some kind of impact. Now, earlier in warm-ups, pregame, I asked him how healthy. He said, I'm not there yet. I'm getting there, but I'm not there. I have to learn to play with a screw in my foot. He has a specially made shoe that gives him support that's wider, actually larger, so he'll have a size 15 on one foot and a 16 on the other. His teammates say he's a difference maker and has a level of support for the entire team. And maybe an assistant coach put it best when he said, having Olsen for this game is like having comfort food for Cam Newton. And in this city, that's saying a lot. Let's go back up to Joe and Troy.
All right, guys, thank you. Spanish language broadcast available on both Fox Deportes and by utilizing SAP on our broadcast. Glad you're with us. New Orleans will receive the ball after Carolina won the coin toss. They deferred, and so here comes Mr. Accurate. 72% this year. That is an NFL record. In his postseason career here at home, he and Sean Payton are undefeated.
Quite a year for him, and obviously he got a lot of help with that running game, and for the first time in a long time he was able to play this year and not feel that he had to be perfect each and every week to win games.
Starting from the 25 to begin the day, and Breeze starts 1 for 1 out across the 30. Brandon Coleman good for 6. This is an offensive line that is anchored in the middle by Max Unger. He is a rock up front, and they love their rookie right tackle, Ryan Ramczyk.
Yeah, this offensive line, they have really done a great job all season long, but there's been a lot of moving parts. In fact, in the 2 previous games between these 2 opponents, Teron Armstead did not play left tackle. Andrus Peat had to move out to left tackle, and so this is a little different for them.
Here's Ingram with his first carry of the day, and he runs in as Shaq Thompson. Kawan Short was underneath that pile as well, a gain of 2, so 3rd and 2 coming up. And here's the defense, it anchored by 59 in the middle, Luke Kuechly.
That front 7 is as good as any in football, and Luke Kuechly obviously being the key to this group. And you know, Sean Payton this week, he talked about the chess game between he and Drew Brees. This coaching staff spent a lot of hours this week trying to come up with some different looks for Luke Kuechly.
Here's a flip to Tommy Lee Lewis, and that didn't work at all. A loss on the play, and James Bradbury came up and made the stop, a loss of 4. And after that initial completion, it turns into a 3 and out.
Great job defensively. Kawan Short, he's able to get through the middle. You see Julius Peppers, and then you've got Bradbury who comes up and makes the tackle.
So Thomas Morstead employed here early. High hanger with Christian McCaffrey, the rookie, waiting. And a fair catch out across his own 25. They'll mark him at the 27.
That's a great start defensively for Carolina. You think back the last time these 2 teams met, they gave up touchdowns to start the game, in each of those to the Saints. So for the Carolina Panthers to get the ball and Cam Newton not to already be down 7-0, that's different in itself.
Cam Newton, the NFL MVP from 2015, when he and Carolina ended up in the Super Bowl and took a loss at the hands of the Denver Broncos. His first postseason game since then. 3-3 in his career. Says a prayer. Here we go. Here's Stewart, Jonathan Stewart, with a big carry for a first down to begin the day. This is the number 4 rushing attack, the Carolina Panthers, and they're going to hover with kind of a half huddle here after a good start from Jonathan Stewart. They've got an all-pro at left guard and Andrew Norwell. Their big threat on the outside is Devin Funchess. After him, they don't have much.
Well, they got Trey Turner, the right guard, number 70, back today. He's missed the last 3 games, a Pro Bowl player from a year ago, and on the first play of the game, they run right behind him for a big game.
It looked like they were going to hurry it up. And then after not getting the play into the huddle, end up having to use a timeout. So an early timeout after one play from scrimmage. It went for a first down carry for Jonathan Stewart. We'll be right back after this from State Farm. First down, Carolina. Stewart again. This time bottled up after a 3-yard gain. Now we'll look at this defense for New Orleans, and you talk about improved. Previous 3 years, the Saints ranked dead last in points per game allowed, opponent yards per game. It is much better here this year, and a good young secondary.
Well, Dennis Allen's done a nice job, and where they've gotten better, it reminds me a lot of that defense back when they won their Super Bowl. They've gotten a lot of takeaways.
Newton keeps, gets 2. Cam Newton's been running a lot, 50 times over the previous 4 games. That's 12.5 per, and well, we expect to see a lot of that here today. It's going to be 3rd and 5 now.
I thought George Johnson did a great job on that last play, that you have to be able to handle certainly the read option in Cam Newton, but if you've got contained throughout this game, you better maintain your responsibilities or they will make you pay.
Just got it away. Newton to the sideline. Pass broken up. Funchess the target with the rookie Lattimore on his back.
Well, you got to remember the last 2 times these teams played, Marshawn Lattimore did not play in either one of those games. Funchess looks like he's a little banged up. Came in with a banged up shoulder. Look at the coverage there by the rookie Lattimore as you see Funchess go to the ground.
Looked like he rolled that left ankle.
Yeah, and that's significant. Like I said, he did not practice Wednesday and Thursday because of a shoulder injury that's been bothering him.
Fair catch hauled in at the 16 by Tommy Lee Lewis after a 41-yard punt, and they look at Devin Funchess. Look at that left leg and the left ankle. Not a good look for Carolina. No score. Well, the record-setting years for these two guys together, the first running back duo all time with over 1,500 yards from scrimmage. Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram. Ingram is the vet in his 7th year. Kamara, 3rd-round pick. Electric. Pass is behind Thomas. Flag flies on the incompletion. See if Thomas was interfered with or held.
Holding defense number 26. A 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
That's Darrell Worley, number 26. He's the most penalized defensive player on the team, and he draws one here, and that's, you'd expect to see that matchup because the Carolina Panthers are not going to travel their best corner, James Bradbury, with Michael Thomas, and knowing that as a quarterback, you work Michael Thomas over to that left side, and he's going to be facing Worley throughout this day.
Kamara touches it for the first time and gets back to the line of scrimmage where Thomas Davis knocks him down. Sean Payton, what a run it's been in his 12th year. He won a Super Bowl back after the 2009 season, and the combination of Sean Payton and Drew Brees has been the most dynamic in the league since they got together back in '06.
Yeah, I've always thought that Sean Payton, one of the best offensive minds in football, and then you add Alvin Kamara to the mix and all the things that they're able to do with him. It's been a magical year offensively once again.
Right foot 9. Right foot 9. Ready. We're waiting. Touch.
Brees protected and then throws in the direction of Kamara, who pulled up, and Kamara comes out of there looking for a hold, doesn't get it. And then on the other side, you've got Ron Rivera, who was just rewarded with a 2-year extension signed through 2020. And he has guided his team into the playoffs for the 4th time over the last 5 years. And I know somebody who you have a lot of respect for.
Yeah, I do. I mean, you look around the league, the teams that are in the postseason, all of those head coaches have done a great job this year. But Ron Rivera, he's faced a lot. Came into the season, they lost their general manager. They've had a number of players injured, as a lot of teams have. They trade their #1 wide receiver. He has kept them together throughout.
On 3rd down now, the pass incomplete, and both offenses looking for a little traction. Josh Hill, the tight end, was the target, so 4th down, and the second punt coming from Morstead.
Carolina, they've got to feel awfully good right now, the way that they have come out and set the tone defensively. Both these defenses off to good starts, but playing on the road for Carolina to come in here and hold down Drew Brees on the first 2 possessions. Good work.
It was McCaffrey the first time. Now it's Kalen Clay. Line drive punt. Chased down and knocked down by Justin Hardy. A loss of 2 on the return. Well covered by number 34, the rookie corner. Devin Funchess is okay to return. No score in New Orleans. A little breezy outside in the 60s here on the 7th of January, and we welcome you back inside in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, where it is loud. Second possession for the Panthers. No score. Newton trying to set up a screen, and that was tipped and almost picked. McCaffrey was the target, and then once that ball went up in the air, Tony McDaniel, who has been re-added to this roster, almost came down with a pick.
This Carolina offense, they give you a lot of different looks, a lot of different formations, personnel groupings, and the screens are a big part of that. The Saints, they picked that up awfully well, and we're there with an opportunity. Cam Jordan gets his hands on it, and really pretty fortunate that that ball hit the ground.
Here's Stewart, bottled up. 3rd and long coming up as Stewart picks up 2. Trey Hendrickson, one of many rookies on this roster, contributing. The draft class out of this world for the New Orleans Saints, and they're all over the place with Marshawn Lattimore and Ramczyk and Marcus Williams, Kamara, Anzalone, who started the season, Hendrickson. They're young and they're good. 3rd and 8. Newton flushed. He'll run. Flag on the play, and Newton's got a 1st down. Flag in the secondary. Greg Olsen thinks it's a hold against the Saints, and we'll find out officially from Tony Corrente, who was working with a mixed crew. We've got our security blanket, Mike Pereira, in the booth with us. Here's a call.
Holding defense number 26. This 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play. 1st down.
You see P.J. Williams, he's on Greg Olsen. He's getting help over the top, so he's playing aggressive and clear contact. And Olsen, who's coming off a tough afternoon last Sunday against Atlanta, where he had just 1 reception, let his emotions get the better of him and holding it together with the early contact here in the 1st quarter.
Newton over the middle for McCaffrey. A rookie running back who had a very good season catching the football with his 80 grabs is good for 8 yards, where Craig Robertson brings him down.
Well, it's a good decision by Cam Newton. They're running deep. They're trying to take a shot down the field, but good coverage, and with outstanding protection in front of him, he comes underneath to check down and picks up a nice gain. I'm surprised, Joe, that they have not run a faster tempo and more of a no huddle here in the early going.
Toss to Whitaker running left, and Fozzie Whitaker's got another 1st down. A gain of 3 where Robertson is out there again. When you think about this Carolina team, as you said, they traded away Kelvin Benjamin, their top target on the outside at the deadline at the end of October. They've lost Curtis Samuel and Demir Bird, two speed threats on the outside. Cam Newton does not have much down the field. So much, so close to the line of scrimmage. Takes off, quarterback run, takes it inside the 40 to the 39 and a gain of 3.
Not all there was to get. They've got Manti Te'o, number 51, who's getting more playing time with the injury to A.J. Klein, and he was primarily just playing in the Saints base packages, but he started playing more and more in their nickel looks because of the injury, and he was a free tackler on that play, but just got caught up in the wash. But still were able to keep Cam Newton from picking up too much.
Second down and 7. Newton takes off, and he is knocked down shy of the 35. Third down coming up. Cam Jordan, the all-pro defensive end, and person who visited with Aaron Andrews during the week, that interview during the pregame show. Just a terrific year. 3-time Pro Bowler now made the stop, a gain of 3.
Well, when it comes to rushing the passer for the Saints, there's Cam Jordan, and then there's everybody else. I mean, he has had a great year, as you said, but the rest of them, they've kind of had to do it by committee.
Bobble on the snap. Pass is caught. What a throw and what a grab by Greg Olsen. A 10-yard completion on third down and a fresh set at the 25.
Shows you the arm strength that Cam Newton has here. This is a good look at it, as you're going to see. He bobbles the ball, as you mentioned, and then he just drives the ball, and it's pretty good coverage there by Ken Crawley, and yet Cam puts it out there perfectly for Greg Olsen.
Newton's come a long way after the offseason shoulder surgery on a partially torn rotator cuff. A lot of strength there. Here's McCaffrey. Broke tackles in the backfield, couldn't break more, and a loss of 1. Manti Te'o in there on the stop.
When you consider this running game, and I know Jonathan Stewart, he's had a couple decent runs here already in this one, but as you look at the year overall, this is not a good running team. It's a good running quarterback. In fact, it's a great running quarterback. You take Cam Newton's rushes out of this offense, they're 31st in the NFL. Yards have been hard to come by from McCaffrey and Jonathan Stewart throughout the season.
10th play of the drive. Newton over the middle. Dixon incomplete. Te'o was in coverage. That throw was there. It looked like it hit off the hands of Ed Dixon. Third down coming up.
Yeah, ball that certainly should have been caught. There just needs to be a little more urgency within this passing game. If Dixon, if he stays on the move, he's got a linebacker who's driving on him. There's a lot of open field.
They've converted 3rd and 8 and 3rd and 3 on this drive. It's 3rd and 11. Quick throw, Kalen Clay. Clay knocked down right at the marker, and they're going to give it to him. A terrific catch and run by Kalen Clay. Marcus Williams on the tackle, but a gain of 11 on 3rd and 10.
Yeah, Kalen Clay, another one of those receivers that wasn't even on the team to start this year, and he can run, and you've got to keep your eyes on him. And 3rd and long, they get the ball into his hands quickly, and he gets going north and south with some blockers in front. That's a great job of knowing where he needed to get the first down.
Inside the red zone now, where the Panthers are number 17 in the league at converting these chances into touchdowns. Toss to Stewart running left. Nothing. Onyemata was out there, and Ken Crawley as well. Within those numbers, 2 for 4 this year. are the Carolina Panthers against this Saints defense inside the 20.
Yeah, and the last two games haven't been real good down in this area of the field either for Carolina, and that's why they've struggled. And when you go back and you look at these games, the teams that are able to come away with touchdowns, they're the ones that win. We'll see whether or not Carolina can keep this drive going and punch it in.
Over the middle, pass is caught. That's Olsen, third and short coming. Von Bell, another good young player in this secondary, a second-year pro from Ohio State. Former national champion was there to make the tackle.
Yeah, well, Olsen gives Cam Newton a weapon that he didn't have during the regular season against the Saints. So along with Devin Funchess, now you incorporate a guy like Greg Olsen, who Cam Newton thinks so much of and has such chemistry with, and this is the area of the field where he likes getting him the ball.
3rd and 2.
There's Olsen right there.
Just got it away. Pass to the end zone is dropped. Kalen Clay. And it's 4th down. The field goal unit will come on for Carolina.
I don't think Cam Newton could have walked this ball and handed it off any better than where he placed it. That's a perfect throw by Cam Newton, and not an easy throw to make. You got to put it right on the sideline so only your guy can make the play on it. And Kalen Clay, you just have to make that catch in a game like this.
2 drops on that drive. It turns this into a field goal opportunity for Graham Gano. He's missed only one, and he's missed twice. A 25-yard chip shot from Gano, who had hit 17 straight wide to the right. Still no score. Well, there are drops, and then there are drops. And this is a killer on the road trying to take the lead. What a throw.
Just demoralizing for your whole team. It's demoralizing for Kalen Clay, who had the drop, for the quarterback Cam Newton, who knows that he put the ball in a perfect spot, and everyone on the sidelines who knew they had an opportunity to go up in this ball game. And those are the plays that make the difference between winning and losing. And in a big game, a playoff game atmosphere on the road, you just simply cannot afford to not take advantage of those.
Breeze just has to get rid of it. Nowhere to go. His target, Mark Ingram, ended up out of bounds on the deck, and the crowd was looking for a flag on that hit right at the end of the throw right there on Drew Brees as it was delivered by Vernon Butler.
Yeah, the crowd certainly, anytime you see your quarterback getting knocked down, it's Vernon Butler, but it was not late and was certainly within the framework of the rules.
So the Carolina Panthers put together a 15-play drive. Took over 7.5 minutes off the clock. Got no points. Now 2nd and 10 for New Orleans. Down the middle, deep, Ginn, caught, inside the 30. The former Panther, touchdown, New Orleans.
See the safety in the middle of the field here. He's going to work. He's trying to get over the top to give help to his corner, to Michael Thomas. And when he goes over the top to the boundary, it opens up the middle of the field. And James Bradbury not able to fall back into that with his receiver running across the field. It opens up the middle, and you cannot run with Ted Ginn.
Still at the age of 32, 7-0. Again, 2 different stints with Carolina. It's that speed element the Panthers lack. Breeze has it. 80 yards down the middle to Ted Ginn. 7-0 Saints. A big strike from the Saints. 80 yards. Longest play from scrimmage for New Orleans all year. Longest play Carolina has allowed all year defensively. We talked to Ron Rivera, head coach of the Carolina Panthers, back in December. He said it's not as if we didn't want Ted Ginn back. The Saints got the deal done fast with Ginn, and that speed element hard to corral. First year of a 3-year deal, and boy, does it pay off right here.
Yeah, well, here's Kurt Coleman. You're going to see he levels out. He's going to help out on Michael Thomas, who's running a square in, and that leaves Ginn down the middle, and Bradbury's never able to fold underneath it. They bring a 5-man pressure, and it's just a foot race at that point. And like I said, you're not going to catch Ted Ginn Jr., and you talked about it, Joe. I visited with him prior to the game, and he did not want to leave Carolina. There was just simply not an offer made, but you bring him to New Orleans and play him opposite of Michael Thomas. That's quite a duo for Drew Brees. And Ginn has come up with big plays throughout this season.
Newton, high throw, but caught by Olsen, who somehow was all alone along that far sideline. Marcus Williams knocks him down, but a gain of 22.
Good look at the protection, and they certainly are able to run a lot of that play action, the read option looks. And Greg Olsen, as I said, he's off to a good start. Talked about his foot, how he was feeling playing on this surface after last week's game, but he's moving around well.
Here's Stewart, tripped up at the line of scrimmage. Got one.
You think back, Joe, prior to last week's game, Carolina defensively had gone 2 weeks where they had given up a ton of big plays down the field, more than any defense in football during that 2-week stretch, and most of them came in the passing game. They were much better last week against the Falcons, a team that likes to threaten you vertically, but again, they give up a big play to Ted Ginn, and that's kind of been the story between these two teams this year, the big play ability by the Saints offensively.
2nd and 9. Newton protected, airs it out. There's Clay, and no flag, and now a flag late. Ken Crawley was there, and it looked like he tackled Clay as that ball was coming down.
Yeah, I was wondering why there wasn't a flag immediately, and this was a matchup because Ken Crawley, you see, he gets a hold of him, and that ball was catchable.
Pass interference, defense number 20. The ball be placed at the spot of the foul. And an automatic first down.
Contact before the ball arrives. Now, Marshawn Lattimore, the rookie corner, he's going everywhere with Devin Funchess. That means Ken Crawley has got to be able to keep up with the speedster, Kalen Clay, and they feel that he can, but Clay got right past him on that deep post.
Big hit as Robertson comes in on Cam Newton. 39-yard penalty on the pass interference to Ken Crawley. First down from the 13. Stewart to the 10.
You know, I visited with defensive coordinator Dennis Allen and said, hey, if you're traveling Marshawn Lattimore, then with Devin Funchess, can Ken Crawley run with Kalen Clay? And he said, that's the least of my worries coming into this game. Ken Crawley can run with anybody in this league. Well, Kalen Clay got behind him on that last one, and that's basically all Crawley could do was tackle him.
2nd down and 7 when the second quarter begins. Good start, a lot of noise. 7-0 Saints. Back after this from your local Fox station. We start the second quarter. Ball control dominated by Carolina. The quick 80-yard strike by Brees and Ginn. The only points put up so far, but Carolina, they came up with no points. First trip inside the red zone. Olsen on the sideline on 2nd and 7. Stewart carries and doesn't get much. Manti Te'o playing well in the middle. Robertson was in there as well, and a gain of just 1. So now 3rd down and 6. Good protection. Pass is incomplete. Olsen the target. The field goal unit trots on again for Carolina.
It's the first throw that I've seen of Cam that was just simply off the mark. Going to run Olsen here in the flat. They get Burson in behind it, trying to get to the corner, and that was one that just sailed. But you know, here in this first half, all the questions were how was Cam Newton going to do throwing the football, and he's made some awfully good throws.
27-yard try by Gano, who's now 1 for 2. Panthers on the board, 7-3. First minute of the second quarter. 7-3 game. The Saints on top. They're about to get the ball back, and we'll welcome you inside the booth. I'm Joe. That's Troy. That's Mike Pereira.
Me.
Is there any truth to the notion that this time of year the officials let them play more than they do?
I think if you look at the stats, there's less fouls, but I think much of that has to do with the discipline of the teams. They all know it's a one-and-done game. In the first quarter, we had no false starts, no delays, no offsides, none of those. So to me, it's as much of a discipline factor as anything.
Certainly fits with the Carolina Panthers. They are the least penalized team in the NFL in 2017. Gano has the highest rate of touchbacks across the league, just under 85%, as he will try to keep the ball out of the hands of Alvin Kamara most of the day. This Wednesday, Angela Bassett, Peter Krause, and Connie Britton lead a perfectly cast ensemble. That's what they've called it. Critics are calling the show sensational. Don't miss an all-new episode of 9-1-1 Wednesday at 9 Eastern, 8 Central here on Fox. For the Saints, their first 7 plays gained 4 yards. Their last play from scrimmage gained 80. Breeze fires, and that's caught by the touchdown man, Ted Ginn. A gain of 5. For info on this Carolina defense, let's go down to Chris Myers.
Joe, veteran defensive end Charles Johnson, last minute inactive, a healthy scratch. I asked Ron Rivera about that. He said, well, he came back after missing 4 games last week. We didn't get what we were looking for, so he's inactive. I asked if it was disciplinary. He would only say we just needed him to play better. And actually, Joe and Troy, the defensive line, that front, playing much better against the Saints running game without Charles Johnson, who is inactive.
Charles Johnson, number 2 on the Carolina all-time sack list behind his teammate Julius Peppers. Inactive today. What a throw. Michael Thomas, a spin out to midfield. This kid doesn't get a lot of credit or a lot of headlines, but nobody's caught more balls over his first 2 years in the NFL than Michael Thomas.
This guy's terrific, and you're going to see Drew Brees. He knows he's got the middle of the field open. The safety's cheating to the trip side with 3 wide receivers, and he looks him off. He just holds him in that space, and he can come right back, drive the ball into Michael Thomas. And this passing game for the New Orleans Saints is fun to watch, and Drew Brees is as good as anybody at moving defenders in zone coverages.
Here's Kamara. He hasn't been a factor yet. Gets a few. Alvin Kamara right up the gut. And maybe an injury out there, and there is. That's Andrus Peat. So they'll look at big number 75, and we'll take a break here in New Orleans. Well, this is obviously terrible to see. They had to stabilize the left leg of Andrus Peat. He got caught up, and then Darryl Worley came whisking into the pile right there at the bottom of it. You see the left leg just get pinned by a real good young offensive lineman in this game, Andrus Peat.
A really good player, a very valuable offensive lineman for this Saints team, and his versatility of being able to play left tackle. When Teron Armstead has missed some time, you never like to see this. I think he's a heck of a player. He's had a heck of a season. But now, at least they have Senio Kelemete, who has played a lot of left guard. In fact, he's just started 6 games at left guard. He'll step in now at that spot. But I know for Sean Payton, the concern was Teron Armstead and whether or not he was going to be able to hold up throughout this game. He apparently felt good about it because he did not dress 8 offensive linemen. Only 7 were dressed, so there's only 1 more backup.
Breeze with a play action, then finding Ingram with Calamete out in front of him, and Mark Ingram's got a big play for a first down to the 35.
Well, the Saints, they started using a lot of Kamara and Ingram in the game, in the backfield at the same time, and this time they're able to go with Alvin Kamara, who you're going to see, who comes across and gives the look like he's going to get the ball to the play side. But then Breeze comes back and they set up the screen opposite of him, and a good job by Calamete coming in off the bench and making a nice block.
Pass is caught. Michael Thomas with a nice gain on first down. They'll give him 8. Tell you, there is no team in the NFC that's still alive that would be excited to face this New Orleans Saints offensive attack. They're balanced. They had 23 touchdowns through the air, 23 on the ground. Top 5 in both run and pass categories for the year. They've got the 2-headed monster in the backfield and Drew Brees pulling all the right levers during the course of the game. Brees hands here. Ingram first down and more as he plows to the 22, brought down by Kuechly.
I think you're right, Joe, when you evaluate the teams in the field here in the postseason, you follow the quarterbacks, and certainly the top 2 seeds in the NFC. Number 1, they lose their starter in Carson Wentz, an MVP candidate. Of course, Case Keenum has done a nice job, but when you've got Drew Brees and a Super Bowl champion quarterback, you feel really good, especially with the weapons as you laid out that he has to get the ball to.
Kawan Short was injured on that last play, but able to get up and jog off.
Yeah, it's good to see for Carolina, because this run defense is really predicated on his ability to get pressure in the backfield, more so than Kawan Short or those defensive ends. They're going to need him if they're going to hold up.
First down, Saints up by 4.
Like 5-9, ready. We're waiting for shot.
Kamara trying to get him involved, gets the edge. And this kid who averaged just under 8 yards a touch from scrimmage gets 4. 7.7 yards per touch, and there was a flag out there on the far sideline that came out late.
Holding, offense, number 42. 10-yard penalty, repeat, first down.
So we get the fullback, Zach Line.
There's Zach Line right in front. Clearly he gets a hold of Shaq Thompson and backs him up a little bit. And I find it interesting when you talk to Sean Payton, who's been around some really great runners, Marshall Faulk, Darren Sproles, Reggie Bush, and yet this Alvin Kamara does things that he's never seen before.
Here he is on the pass catch, making men miss, and down near the 20, went around Kuechly to pick up 10. They talk about his balance. Kurt Coleman, the veteran safety, said that he's one of those guys, you hit him on one side, he has the ability to go limp on that side, keep his feet driving. He's just hard to bring down.
Well, he doesn't give you much surface, and it looked like Kuechly had an angle where he would have typically been able to make that play, only not against this guy. He's awfully slippery.
Blitz. Saints pick it up. Pass caught by Thomas. Sets up first and goal. 13 yards for number 13.
Well, the last time these two teams met, Shaq Thompson had a chance to keep Alvin Kamara from scoring a touchdown, and he didn't make the play. He's got a chance to make a play on Michael Thomas there on the boundary, and he just simply overruns it. Allows Thomas to pick up some more yards before Worley's there to make a play, and to overcome the holding penalty on Zach Line and pick up the first down. It's big for the Saints team.
5-9, ready. We're waiting for shot.
Breeze, end zone, open, touchdown, Hill. After a 1-for-4 start, Drew Brees now has connected on 8 straight.
Just simply a break in coverage. They bring both these guys here off the edge, and nobody then accounts for Josh Hill. And he's wide open for the touchdown.
The primary tight end at the start of the year was Kobe Fleener. They lost him after a concussion at the Rams, week 12. Hill has his second touchdown of the season, and Brees is red hot. It started with play action. Brees hit it, Brees threw it. Brees adds to the Saints lead. It's 14-3. Well, we could throw a lot of numbers at you. How about this one? Drew Brees has a perfect quarterback rating now after a slow start. He's 9 for 12, 163 yards, 2 touchdowns, 6 different receivers. And Drew Brees, number 4 on the all-time career postseason quarterback rating list. He is number 3 right now in career passing yards. At some point next year, he'll pass Peyton Manning. As long as he's healthy, he's just incredible.
Yeah, and you wonder where he'll be. He doesn't have a contract after this season. Will it be in New Orleans?
I would think the odds are good, but you never know. The 2018 Pro Bowl is headed back to Orlando for a week filled with entertainment and a celebration of football at all levels. Watch your favorite NFL stars compete. It's AFC versus NFC again at the Pro Bowl, January 28th, 3 Eastern. And then don't miss the Pro Bowl Skills Showdown on Thursday, January 25th at 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. This is not an enviable position for this Carolina offense. They're behind on the road. They don't have a lot on the outside. Going to have to get something done on this drive here or pretty soon.
And against this run defense that's given up yards this year, they've not been able to get either one of these running backs going.
Pass to McCaffrey underneath. He's got a first down across the 40. Tail on the stop and a gain of 17 by the rookie first-round pick out of Stanford.
Well, that's a good start. I'm still surprised that Carolina has not gone to a faster tempo, something that Cam Newton really likes. That's a good start for this drive, but of course you look at this first half. Carolina able to move the ball. They miss a field goal. They have to settle for another 3 points in the red zone, and they've got to take advantage of some of these opportunities they've missed on.
Here's Stewart on a delayed handoff. Nothing out there, and backward he goes. Robertson in the middle of it, the longtime Cleveland Brown. He wasn't alone. That's McDaniel. And what an opportunity for Craig Robertson playing in his first career postseason game. Loss of 1.
Pretty exciting for him, like you said, a 6th-year player and never even played in a bowl game in college. So this is a little different atmosphere for him.
Pass caught by Olsen over the middle. Had to reach behind him a bit for the grab, and he gets 10 to bring up 3rd and 1.
Where's Devin Funchess? When they traded Kelvin Benjamin, he became the go-to guy, and you're going to draw the best corner. And when you're playing the New Orleans Saints, that then means Marshawn Lattimore. And like I said, Lattimore didn't play in the 2 meetings during the regular season, so this is a different look for Devin Funchess. Now, he looks like he's, I said he had that shoulder injury and didn't practice, and whether it's that or the injury earlier in this game, but certainly seems to be banged up a little bit.
3rd down and 1. They hand to Stewart, and Stewart is going to lunge. Depends on where they put it down. Von Bell in on the stop. It looked like Stewart was on top of a body when he reached out with the ball. And he is right up against that unofficial yellow line. He's not down there because he's not touching the ground.
It looked to me like you said, Joe, he's on a body and he's able to extend his arm, and it looked like he got enough.
So they bring out the chains, and we'll see if he did. Well, Riverboat Ron, what do you want to do? You've got a monster at quarterback at 6'5", 245.
Well, you know what he's going to do.
Cam is 2 for 2 on 4th and 1 this year. This is 4th and what? 3-4 inches?
I'd be really surprised if Cam Newton does not keep this ball. But if you ever wanted to try to take a shot and make something happen, this would be a good time, but you've got, again, Marshawn Lattimore right down here.
Cam keeps and is shoved forward for the first down. First down Carolina as they go for it near midfield on 4th and inches. And Alex Arma, the fullback, is behind Cam Newton, shoving him forward. He clearly got it.
Cam's just going for a ride. Wonder when it's going to stop.
First down for the Panthers, down by 11. Cam's in trouble, out to his right, throws it away. Pressure by Craig Robertson, who is making this first trip through a postseason game count with a very active first half.
He's pretty good on the blitzing. He's their best cover linebacker, but they will bring him at times in the middle, and when they do, he has a knack for being able to time it up and getting pressure. And a lot of times you see Cam get outside the pocket like that, you hold your breath, but nowhere to go with the football. Didn't feel like he could tuck it and get anything out of it.
4 tackles already for Robertson in this first half. Second down, McCaffrey gets swallowed up. 3rd and long coming. And Christian McCaffrey really, it's been a really good year. But on the ground, as you said, yards have been hard to come by for the 5'11", 205-pounder.
Yeah, he's obviously had a very productive year, and I think they did a good job of incorporating him into the run game and the things that they do, but it hasn't been a good year for him running the football. It hasn't been a good year for Jonathan Stewart running the football. There's just been a lack of consistency and a lot of pressure on Cam Newton to carry the load.
Third down and 8. Newton slings it. Burson on the catch, and he's got a first down, and the turf monster got him. Had a few more yards out in front of him, but he tripped on the turf and got 19.
The shallow crosser and the Saints, they just get confused then on the back end in their zone look, and P.J. Williams, he covers his guy and he follows him into the middle, and then he's not out in contain when Burson gets the ball in his hands.
Talked about it last week. Burson's been cut 5 times. Because of all these injuries, they keep bringing him back.
They got Olsen at the top of the screen.
McCaffrey left side. Takes it to the 24.
To follow up on McCaffrey, when he came to Carolina, the way they started using him early in the season, he got a lot of touches, and the concern really around the league was how well he would hold up. You know, he's not a real tall guy. When you first watch him, you think he's not very big, but he's actually got some pretty good size to him, and he's not just an outside runner. In fact, a lot of his runs, certainly in college, came between the tackles. He's a tough little guy.
2nd and 7. Newton slings it to the end zone. A lot of hand checking, and Olsen the target, no flag. Ken Crawley was back there covering, and neither one gets up and complains.
One of those 50-50 balls and give him a chance. There's a lot of hand checking, as you said, and I'm, as much on Greg Olsen as Crawley, and I think it was a good non-call.
Crawley just got a piece of that to avoid the touchdown. Now 3rd and 7. Blitz. Pass is caught by Dixon, and down he goes. Raphael Bush. A gain of just 3, and the field goal unit comes on again for the Panthers.
Unexpected man coverage, and so they run some of these crossing routes, and Kalen Clay, number 12, he's working the opposite direction. They turned him loose. Had Cam Newton had been able to see him, you see him going across, and he had an angle for a chance to pick it up. So again, defensively, good job by the Saints, making a key stop.
Gano now from 39 drills it. He's had a great year, Graham Gano. He missed 8 field goals last year, only 1 during the regular season. That was a 55-yarder at Detroit in the 5th game. He's 2 for 3 today. During this wild card weekend, what a game yesterday late with the Chiefs blowing that 18-point lead, and Tennessee coming back to win, and the Falcons showed their playoff experience in a win on the road in LA. Earlier today, Jacksonville, they win their first playoff game in a decade as they took care of the Buffalo Bills. And last piece of the puzzle will be inserted with the result here in New Orleans. The winner will take on the Vikings in Minneapolis next Sunday.
Yeah, congratulations to those teams that won. And I can tell you that you go into the year, you want to get into the postseason, and when you do, you feel good. But when you're eliminated and you do not win at least one playoff game, it is crushing for a team.
You hear the thunderous boom of the right foot of Graham Gano into the football and into the back of the end zone. Another touchback. So out to the 25 comes the ball, and out to the field comes Drew Brees, who's put together a very good first half.
You look at Drew Brees, you talked about it a little bit earlier, Joe, and his completion percentage, an NFL record once again. And I'm asked a lot what I think the most important quality is for a quarterback, and I always say it's accuracy first and foremost. You can be a tough guy, you can be a great leader, you can have a great arm, you can do all those things, but if you can't put the ball where you want to put it, you're going to have a hard time being successful. And you watch Drew practice, and it's not surprising that he is as consistent as he is. I've never seen a guy go through a routine like him.
Hand off to Ingram. Good start to the drive with 2:40 left in the half. The highest completion percentage in a single season across NFL history. You're going to see the name Drew Brees 3 times in the top 4 seasons, and the new NFL record put up by Drew. And 4 of the 10 most accurate seasons in NFL history belong to Drew Brees. 72% this year. 2nd and 3. Pass caught. That's Thomas. By the way, the word on Andrus Peat that we're getting from the Saints is a shin injury, not a knee. Return questionable. 2 minutes left, opening half in New Orleans. Saints by 8. Very pleasant January day in New Orleans. Inside, it's an 8-point game. Saints with the football. Drew Brees at 77% today. Completing passes, he's hit 9 in a row.
Ready. We're waiting. What's that?
On first down. Gonna launch. Ginn. Broken up. Kirk Coleman got that right arm in front of Ted Ginn and knocked it away.
Well, when you have to double clutch the way that Brees did on this play to Ted Ginn, you just simply are going to run out of arm strength. You just cannot get it out there far enough, and Kirk Coleman then able to peel off of that and make a play. And you're going to see as he steps up and has to navigate the rush, at that point, not much of a chance.
So 2nd and 10.
Mike 5-9. Mike 5-9. Ready. Ready. Set.
Blitz off the edge from Davis. Pass is caught by Coleman to the 40. Good block from Alvin Kamara during the play and an 18-yard completion.
Well, they're playing soft coverage and then with the clean pocket, and those are easy completions for Drew Brees.
Everybody near the line of scrimmage as Brees throws, broken up on the sideline. Thomas was the target. Darrell Worley was defending, and I don't think Sean Payton agrees with no flag.
Well, there's definitely hands on the shoulder pads. That's right in front of Sean Payton is where it happened. But Darrell Worley is the guy that they wanted to work over. He felt that he came into this game not playing with much confidence. He made a good play on that ball.
Carolina will receive the second half kick. They need to stop. Second and 10. Brees pass down the middle. It is caught by Hill. What a grab with a body on him. Good for 25.
I tell you, this is actually good coverage, and it's just Drew Brees throwing his tight end open. You're going to see the job that Mike Adams does. He takes away the inside, and Brees just puts it right on the outside. And you watch them in practice, and they do this over and over. Brees will make throws even when there's no defense. He'll make throws to his receivers and make them adjust to the football so they'll get used to doing it. And that was a great example of an opportunity presenting itself and making the most of it.
Drew Brees with his 216 yards, 12 of 17. We'll tell you what's coming up at halftime. Visa will present this to you. Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy. The thoughts on the first half here, a divisional look ahead. And Christina Pink from Jacksonville, where the Jaguars won a 10-3 game over Buffalo. We know Atlanta is headed to Philly. The winner of this game headed to Minneapolis. Pass is caught on a diving grab, and down to the one is Michael Thomas.
Unbelievable. Two great catches right in a row. One by Hill, and then Michael Thomas comes right back. And again, to illustrate, you don't complete 72% of your passes without having receivers catch the football and make plays the way these guys have here in this first half.
Timeout taken here by Carolina. What a grab, and here's the perfect look at it from that pylon camera as Thomas secures it going to the ground. Just to put a number to it, 196 receptions over the first 2 years for Michael Thomas, an NFL record. Jarvis Landry had the previous record at 194. Odell Beckham Jr. was number 3 and is now at 187. You don't hear a lot about him. He doesn't seem to be a guy who craves the spotlight or a look at me kind of a guy. He's just good.
Really good. And he's as competitive a guy as there is in all of football. And he does it during the week. And like Drew Brees says, he's the most competitive wide receiver that he's ever played with. They marvel at him. He's not the fastest guy either, but yet he's able to get behind people and create big plays. He's very physical coming off the line of scrimmage, and yeah, what a great start to his career.
Another high draft pick, second rounder from Ohio State. They have done some tremendous scouting and drafting. Mickey Loomis in this front office. Handoff is to Zach Line for the touchdown.
He has a chance to hit him in the hole. He's unblocked and he's able to fill and right there to meet Zach Line, but he goes down low and Line's just able to kind of sidestep him, and Thomas Davis can't get there. And this drive kind of punctuated this first half for New Orleans, coming away with the touchdowns. This is a big one for them right before the half.
Free agent from SMU, Zach Line, has his first touchdown carry of the year. And it's 21-6. 43 seconds left in the half. Carolina one timeout. Considered the league's most prestigious honor. The Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award, presented by Nationwide, recognizes NFL players who have made a significant impact both on the game and in their communities. This year's nominee for the Panthers is Greg Olsen, and for the Saints is Cameron Jordan. The 3 finalists will be announced during the AFC Championship game on January 21st, and this year's winner will be announced the NFL Honors Show on February 3rd at 9 Eastern on NBC. Learn about all of this year's nominees. Each team has one. Visit NFL.com/Man of the Year. And I am standing next to a former award winner, Walter Payton Man of the Year Award. And I know that's high on your list of accomplishments.
It's certainly one of the awards that I'm most proud of. Congratulations to Greg Olsen and Cam Jordan and all those that have been nominated. And there's a lot of players around this league that are doing a lot of great work in their community.
Well, what do the Panthers want to do from their 25 with 43 seconds left? The Saints have gone on 3 straight touchdown drives. $80 yards, 75 yards, 75 yards. And with that one timeout, remember Ron Rivera's quarterback Cam Newton couldn't get the play after the first play of the game from scrimmage. Had to use a timeout there, and so they're left with only 1.
Well, we'll see what Ron Rivera has decided to do. There's no holding back in the postseason, but this is an opportunistic defense, and Cam Newton is going to have to be smart with the football with just 40 seconds to play.
Slings it here and has Funchess to the 50. And timeout taken by Carolina. They're out of timeouts, but they're in a good spot. All right, Kurt, what's coming up at the half?
Coming up on the Visa Halftime, we'll preview next week's matchup as the playoff brackets begin to take shape, as well as have highlights from the first half of today's game down in the Big Easy and the earlier wild card contest between the Jags and Bills. Get the gumbo ready. The Visa Halftime is next. Joe and Troy.
Take a look at that last play, the catch to Funchess, and I'm not sure what Marshawn Lattimore was watching. He's been locked up on Funchess throughout this game. There was no safety help on that play, and I think he just got a little lazy with his technique, and Cam Newton made him pay.
They marked him at the 49. Here's one downfield, and overshot is Russell Shepard, who has gone 3 games without a catch. 29 ticks left, 2nd and 10.
Yeah, there just simply has not been a lot, you know, opposite of Devin Funchess this season. It's been challenging. Of course, you do have Christian McCaffrey, but Olsen has missed most of the season. They've lost receivers to IR. They've had to rely on a whole bunch of guys, and there just has not been much consistency at the wide receiver position once you get beyond Devin Funchess.
Wide receivers for Carolina, just 3 catches in this first half. So opportunity here, though, at the end of the half, 2nd and 10. Newton, Burson, tripped up, and that will keep the clock winding at now 20 seconds left. P.J. Williams on that tackle. Another 5-6 yards of field position would give Carolina a better chance at a first down, or rather at a field goal. This is a first down by McCaffrey, but only 3 seconds left. Here's that drop early on a beautiful throw from Cam Newton, and then that led to the missed 25-yarder by Graham Gano.
Yeah, and even on this drive here, Joe, when the clock is running and you start making receivers go to the opposite side of the formation, a lot of valuable time coming off the clock, and we'll see whether or not they were able to give Gano a realistic shot at this.
Well, it's 58 yards. He was hitting from this distance during the pregame warm-ups. His career long is 59 yards, so it's within that window. The guy's got a big leg. We talk about what he does on kickoffs. He's the best in the league at driving it out of the back of the end zone, so he's got the strength. Does he have the accuracy to get points here before the half? And again, Carolina will get the second half kickoff.
Yeah, defensively, obviously disappointed. They give up the touchdown to New Orleans, but what a lift this would give Carolina to be able to, come away with 3 points and the drive that they put together to make it happen with just 43 seconds. And then, as you said, knowing they got the ball to start the second half.
His season long is just 48 yards. From 58. Cano. Got it. So he missed on his first chance from 25, but he hits from 58. And it's a 21-9 game at the half. Visa halftime coming up.
This time I'm walking to New Orleans. I'm walking to New Orleans. I'm gonna need to parachute when I get through walking these blues. When I get back to New Orleans.
We are officially back in New Orleans, 21-9 at the half, and we'll welcome you inside the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Joe Buck, along with the Hall of Famer, Troy Aikman. Troy, you're the analyst. Let's talk about the first half. I'm not going to say that Carolina's out of the ballgame by any stretch, but how do they close this gap with New Orleans?
Well, what's interesting is that the Saints only had 2 third downs. So the Saints offensively have been able to get big plays. Of course, the 80-yard touchdown there to Ted Ginn. But they're keeping, by getting first downs on early downs, they're keeping Carolina from being able to bring their pressure packages, and therefore Breeze is getting a lot of time in the pocket to make those throws. They've handled the run game well, but I think Wilkes is going to have to start bringing a little bit more pressure early in this ball, or early downs.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a stat that'll back that up. Let's go down first, though, to Chris Myers. Chris?
Well, Joe, from Rod Rivera, there was no special rah-rah speech. Good news was we stopped the Saints running game. Bad news was there was Breeze. We have to find, he said, creative ways to make Breeze uncomfortable on offense. He said that certainly we're going to be more aggressive in the red zone. You may see more up-tempo offense, maybe 4 down for touchdown territory. Back upstairs.
All right, Chris, thanks. Just to back up what you're saying, since 1991, the Saints are the first team to score 21 or more offensive points in the first half without benefit of a third down conversion. They're just not getting to third down.
And that's what you do when you face a good third down unit.
So here's Carolina trying to come back in this one, and that's a nice throw and catch as Funchess is on the receiving end. Good for 17. Down to Aaron we go.
Well, Sean Payton walked out of the locker room, guys, and just said he was very happy with the offense, saying you could tell they were trying to stop the run, felt his quarterback, Drew Brees, was exceptional. He's going to try for the balance here. He said, I do have one problem for you, though. He goes, number 76, Tony McDaniel, I just found out his wife is in labor, and I need to tell him.
Well, that's interesting. Here's Stewart bouncing in. And Jonathan Stewart, hello, down inside the 30. So is there more to that, Aaron? Do we know if he's told them yet?
There is. He said, what do I do? And I said, well, you have to tell him. He said, all right, let me get out on the field. I'll tell him. He has the decision whether to stay or go. Sean Payton just looked at me and said, I told him, we're good.
Well, it looks like McDaniel will stay. Right now he's on the sideline. That was a 29-yard carry by Stewart. Little play action and a dangerous throw. Shepard got his hands on it, incomplete, as Cam Newton tried to fit it through the eye of a needle.
Yeah, I'm not sure he ever saw the safety who was jumping it pretty good. That's Marcus Williams, the rookie. He's here, but he reads it and he drives on that play, and you wouldn't expect a deep middle safety like that to be crowding the ball the way that Marcus Williams did.
Now it's 2nd and 10. Newton keeps, carries it up the gut, and that big body down to the 21. Marcus Williams is a heck of a player. 21 years old, the rookie. 2nd round pick, part of this tremendous draft class, and had 4 interceptions. They are good on the back end, and they will continue to get better because they are young. Here's a big 3rd and 2 coming for Carolina, trying to cash in for the first time with these long drives, but desperate to get into the end zone. And a timeout taken by the Saints. And we'll be right back after this from Duracell.
We heard Chris Myers in his visit with Ron Rivera, and when you get down into this area of the field, he said it could be 4-down territory. With that in mind, that should affect then what Mike Shula's thinking on 3rd down. If you know that you've got 2 downs to pick up this first, do a lot of different things. Certainly opens up the playbook.
Third down and 2. Newton. Pass is caught, and a big catch by McCaffrey. And one of the players, it looks like P.J. Williams, slow to get up, and now he limps over to the sideline. A gain of 11 on 3rd and 2.
Well, not great spacing, as you're going to see, between McCaffrey and Greg Olsen. McCaffrey, he gets down the field from the backfield position with his release. Makes a nice play on the ball, picks up the 1st down, and the Carolina Panthers have to stop trading field goals for touchdowns, and this will be a 10-point swing to end the first half and to start this second half. They're able to cash in.
1st and goal blitz. Newton throws, broken up. Play made by Marcus Williams as he knocked it away. And here's that previous play on the catch by Christian McCaffrey, and that's why P.J. Williams limped over to the sideline, and he's still in pain. 2nd and goal. Cam takes it. Fights his way down inside the 5, and the whistle's finally blown. 3rd and goal coming up.
Well, that's just a run all the way for Cam Newton. They pull the left guard, Andrew Norwell, and let the big body of Newton get in the middle and just try to get as much out of that as he could. And those are some tough yards.
Cam this year rushed for 6 touchdowns. That's Olsen. Good protection. Time runs out. And Cam brought down to the ground by Jonathan Freeney. A loss of 7 as Newton couldn't find anywhere to throw it.
Well, he's working this side of the field here, and you're going to see that New Orleans does a pretty good job there of covering everybody up, and then there's a free rusher on Cam Newton. But what a heck of a play by Freeney to be able to come out and make a tackle on Cam Newton in the open field.
Waived by the Patriots this year. Added to this injury-depleted roster for the Saints on defense. Gano hits from 29. 21-12. Panthers still cannot crack the end zone, but they draw 3 points closer. And welcome back to Mercedes-Benz Superdome, where Carolina's last 5 drives have ended in Saints territory, and 4 of the 5 have ended Troy inside the 22, but they've come away with just 12 points total. There have been missed opportunity after missed opportunity for the Panthers.
Yeah, they moved the ball well, and you're right. And now the real key is this Carolina defense. You know, can they get after Drew Brees and disrupt this passing game?
We heard the report from Aaron Andrews that the wife of Tony McDaniel, number 76 there, is in labor. He has opted to stay, play, and trying to go up to block that field goal try by Gano. Came down awkwardly. Thankfully, it looks like he's okay over on the sideline. A guy who won a Super Bowl with the Seattle Seahawks and came so close to winning 2.
Mike 5-8. Ready. We waiting. What's that?
From the 25, play action from Brees. Pass is caught. Just precision. Ted Ginn
they've not been able to get the interior pressure on Drew Brees, and that is what is most disruptive for any quarterback, but especially a quarterback who's 6 foot tall, because you've got to find windows to throw the ball through, and when you've got clean lanes like he has had and the time back there to find receivers, these corners, they just simply cannot hold up, and they have not held up.
Easy, kill, jam. Ready, blue 80, percent.
Hand off to Kamara. Kamara crosses the 45. Reggie Bush is actually in attendance for this game. Number 2 overall pick back in 06, was part of a world championship team. Aaron Andrews, I know you spoke with Reggie Bush about comparing his style with Kamara. What'd he say?
Yeah, he said he's heard people compare the two, and he's like, first of all, that's really nice of everybody, but he feels that Alvin is so much more mature and advanced as a runner than Reggie was his rookie season. He said, when I was in the NFL my rookie year, I was just trying to put it all together, make that transition.
Here's Ingram over the right side on 2nd and 7. He picks up 3. And Aaron and Troy, that may be true for Reggie Bush, but he's being modest. He did have 88 catches as a rookie running back, which is the all-time NFL record. So he burst onto the NFL scene and couldn't have been in better hands than he was with Sean Payton.
Well, Sean Payton knows how to utilize those guys. Like I said earlier, he had Marshall Faulk when he was at San Diego State. He drafted Reggie Bush when he first got here. He knows how to use the talents of a back like them and Alvin Kamara.
Pass is caught. What a throw and a grab by Ginn for a first down.
You called it. Ted Ginn comes into this game highly motivated. He was in the other 2 meetings against Carolina, and he's made some big plays already in this one. It's a nice play on his part, making the catch in traffic.
Just to finish that story with regard to 3rd downs, that's the first 3rd down conversion by the Saints in this game, but they're just 1 for 3. They've made their mark. Gained their yards on 1st and 2nd down. Ingram spins to the 35. Gain of 4.
Well, what a luxury. You know, everybody talks about trying to be balanced. So few teams in this league have the ability to do that. And, you know, all of the discussion about the run game by the Saints this year, and yeah, they didn't rely on Drew Brees as much as they have in other seasons, but as we've witnessed, he's certainly still capable of dissecting a defense when he needs to.
Daryl Worley now came out of that tackle a little wobbly, and the officials are going to make him go to the sideline.
Yeah, so Daryl Worley, the guy who typically would come in would be Kevon Seymour, and he was inactive. Had an illness he came down with yesterday and did not suit up, and so they bring in Ladarius Gunter.
5'9".
Number 23 right here has played very little this year.
2nd and 6. See if Brees picks on him. Pass is caught inside the 25. Coleman goes backward then. Ball is out. Panthers say they have it. And no signal yet.
New Orleans number 22. First down.
Mark Ingram is the one who gets on top of it, as Brandon Coleman very careless with a football.
Boy, he sure is. He got it stuck out there, and it definitely comes out. And that was the break that Carolina was looking for. They were unable to come away with a takeaway last week against Atlanta. They had gone through a stretch where they had created 3 takeaways or more in 3 straight games, and boy, they could sure use one right now.
Kurt Coleman, the one that knocked it out, but Ingram fell on top of it. That ball was definitely out. Low snap here. Brees throws. Ginn, end zone, incomplete. And there's Ladarius Gunter, front and center, right off the bench, and Brees goes right after him.
Well, that's right. I mean, hey, most quarterbacks would. You certainly know that Drew Brees, a veteran guy, when they lose Worley, the one who they were targeting, you know, in this game, and they bring in Gunter, rest assured it's just a matter of time before they're going after him.
2nd and 10. Gunner, by the way, in a corner that was waived by the Packers.
He's on Michael Thomas now.
Breeze fires, pass caught. That's Thomas. So he goes after Gunter on back-to-back plays, and Gunner there for the stop. Thomas Davis helped out, a gain of 5.
I think they kind of had what they wanted to start. Then they motioned Kamara outside of Thomas, which put Thomas then in the slot. But Ladarius Gunner, he's made a couple nice plays. He made the play down the field. He comes back off of his responsibilities on that play and puts a good hit on Thomas.
3rd down and 5. Pressure on Breeze. Flag on the play, and Breeze throws incomplete. They're going to throw 2 flags, one for grounding, it looks like, as that flag just came in. And then there was a hold that preceded it.
Yeah, Ryan Ramczyk, the right tackle. It looked like, I think it might have been Julius Peppers, but he tackled somebody out there. There's Ramczyk right here, number 71.
Holding, offense number 71. This penalty is declined. Intentional grounding, offense number 9. Carries a loss of down. The ball will be spotted where the pass was thrown. It'll be 4th down.
Well, now with that not only loss of down, but the loss of yardage, it moves the ball back to the 39-yard line. You're talking about a 57-yard try if you want to go that direction. And they are. It's a loss of 17 on that play. And here's the 57-yard try by Will Lutz. It would match his career long. Lutz got it. So the 2 teams have traded long field goals. A 58-yarder by Gano in the first half. This from 57 for Will Lutz to make it a 12-point game. Will Lutz just connected on the longest field goal in Saints postseason history, a 57-yarder. At the end of the first half, Graham Gano hit a 58-yarder that was a Carolina postseason record. It's a 12-point game again. As Lutz kicks it away, and Whitaker will take a knee. Remember that fumble on that drive by New Orleans by Brandon Coleman. That was the alert action of Mark Ingram that got him 3. And the winner of the cutest kid in the dome award goes to her.
How great is that?
That's awesome.
Good stuff. I remember when our girls were that age.
Seems like ages ago. And yet, Troy, it seems just like yesterday. 12-point game from the 25. Cam, a quick throw to Kalen Clay, wrapped up by Crawley. Nothing on play number 1 after the field goal. Saturday, it's the number 1 team in the nation, Michigan State, taking on Michigan in an epic Big Ten rivalry. It all starts Saturday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern on Fox, or stream it live on Fox Sports Go. Michigan State lost earlier today. Each team now with 4 straight scoring drives. All field goals so far today for Carolina as Newton gets hit. That's Cam Jordan.
Here's Cam Jordan, and he's working against left tackle Matt Khalil, and it's one-on-one, and he gets Khalil turned. He's got a straight shot, and that was a time when Newton was loaded up. He's getting ready to take a shot up the sideline to McCaffrey, and Cam Jordan, who's had a great season, completely collapses the pocket.
And a loss of 9 on that sack. A career high 13 during the regular season, and Cam Newton's been hit 8 times now. Sacked twice. Over the middle, McCaffrey swallowed up immediately. Crawley was there to bring him down. And it's 4th down.
At 3rd and long, you just don't have much of a chance, and they bring a 4-man rush and play soft zone coverage in behind it, make them dump it underneath and come up and make a tackle, and the sack killed that drive. Cam Jordan, outstanding.
First punt for Pilardi since the first time Carolina had the ball in this game. Tommy Lee Lewis waiting for it. Good punt. To the far sideline. Little spin move, and that didn't fool anyone. 51-yard punt. Flag is down. There's a flag down on that punt as we revisit that sack by Cam on Cam. Jordan on Newton.
During the return of the kick, illegal block in the back. Receiving team number 34. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
It's against Justin Hardy. Now we'll take the break. Saints will have the ball when we come back as they lead by a dozen. New Orleans with the football, leading 24-12, trying to stamp their ticket to Minneapolis and a date with the Vikings next weekend on Sunday.
Like 5'9". Blue 80. What's that?
On 1st down, Kamara gets it. Dragged down by James Bradbury. We need a Tony McDaniel update, Aaron Andrews.
Yeah, well, first of all, he walked off the field. We haven't been told what his injury is yet. It looked like his left leg, but I did report Sean Payton telling me his wife went into labor during the first half. She actually went to the hospital, and the Saints did just receive news. She's not in labor. It's the stomach bug, so he hasn't missed anything, but we hope injury-wise he's doing okay.
All right, Aaron, thanks. It's really going around, that stomach bug.
Hey, opposite. Opposite.
You're a mess.
Ready. Blue 80. What's that?
2nd and 5, and a toss to Ingram running right. Little spin to get a yard, maybe a yard and a half, and a good play out there on the edge by James Bradbury. Kuechly out there to make the stop.
Yeah, pretty wild. That 1st down run by Alvin Kamara for 5 yards. That was his longest run of the game. He had 20-yard touchdown runs in the 2 regular season games. And we talked to Steve Wilks, and he came into this game committed to stopping the running game. A Saints rushing offense that ranked 5th in the NFL with almost 130 yards a game, and they've been held to 30 yards here through almost 3 quarters. But yet they've just not been able to get after Drew Brees.
Haven't sacked him yet. Now down he goes. And on 3rd and 3, K'Wan Short is there to tap him after Drew Brees tripped and fell. And with 2 minutes left in the 3rd quarter, here comes a punt.
Yeah, Larry Warford, he gets pushed back. K'Wan Short is the one applying the pressure, and I don't know that Brees was really going to be able to go anywhere with the football anyway, but he tripped over Warford and got down. And so a point in the game where it looked like New Orleans could kind of blow the top off this thing. Carolina makes a good stop.
Morstead hits a good one. Kalen Clay back inside the 25 near the 20. And doing a lot on the return to cross the 30. 57-yard punt, 13-yard return, and Chris Myers, you have news down there on Cam Newton.
Yeah, Joel, less theatrical Cam Newton on this sideline throughout the game, more of drifting solo. He walked over to the trainer, Ryan Vermillion, a moment ago. Right now he's having a little bit of an equipment adjustment, but pointing to his right leg, and it looked like they worked on his right lower leg area. He was pointing as if he was in pain, and he does have a little bit of blood on that left padding, so he's obviously ailing a little bit. And coming into the game, Mike Shula reiterated his shoulder is still not 100% from that surgery prior to the season that you talked about. He's just working through it.
From the 32. McCaffrey gets a yard. And at the bottom of that pile, George Johnson was in on the stop, and Tyler Davis in there as well.
I don't know that we're really going to know until this season ends for Carolina just how difficult it has been for Cam Newton. He really has not said a lot. He certainly has been banged up throughout the year. It's a punishing position when you play it the way that he does, but that shoulder, they've been having to manage that all year long, and constantly we're hearing from those coaches during the week as to the amount of reps or lack thereof that he gets, trying to give him the necessary rest to prepare him for the Sunday game.
Here's one down the middle for Olsen. He's got a first down. Greg Olsen out to the 49-yard line. Completion of 17 yards.
And they get Olsen in the seam, and this is why Cam Newton likes him so much. You got a big target at 6'5" that he's able to get up and go after the football and make tough catches. And, you know, hey, everyone who's watched Carolina throughout this year knows that Greg Olsen and his production has been missed.
His first catch of the half. 5th of the game. On first down now, McCaffrey, one of his better runs, as he takes it inside the 45 and takes this playoff game into quarter number 4. Could be a fun finish. Headed our way. Back after this from your local Fox station. It is the divisional round next weekend on Saturday. You can see in the left column, it's the Atlanta Falcons at the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles right now are underdogs in that game. The AFC, it's Tennessee at New England. On Sunday, it's Jacksonville at Pittsburgh. And then we will bring you the winner of this game taking on the Minnesota Vikings. On 2nd and 3, it is Stewart, and they're going to mark him down a yard short of a first down, saying the knee went down before that last lunge.
Not much room to run in there for this Carolina team, and those were some tough yards for Stewart trying to pick that up.
And now it's 3rd down and 1. Play action. They air it out for Olsen down the field. And Olsen's got a first down for Carolina. I know you like that play call, Troy, as that's a gain of 24.
Well, I like it a lot, yeah, because they're so heavy run in these situations. But if Cam Newton comes back, puts his foot in the ground right away and turns it loose, and he hits Greg Olsen in stride, Olsen may hit his head on the goalpost. I mean, he's got a chance to get the ball and go, and it's a little late. But having said that, a big play there on 3rd and 1, and to get him down in here, you know, hey, this has not been the problem for Carolina, getting down to this part of the field. What's been a problem is getting the other 18 yards and getting it in the end zone.
Cam keeps out to his left. Nothing there. Went over the head of Olsen. I don't know if there's something wrong with the hands of Cam Newton, if he's dealing with a glove or something. Or trying to retie his pants, losing his towel, whatever, but he came out of that's his belt.
He's been moving around pretty slow throughout this game. I know that's not what has to do with this, but, you know, people talk about Cam's body language and all that goes with that, but he's been pretty slow moving around without a lot of energy.
2nd and 10 now. Hand off to McCaffrey. He takes it inside the 15, and a big 3rd down coming up. Von Bell on the tackle, a gain of 4.
Good tough running by Christian McCaffrey, and another big 3rd down here for Carolina, and they've converted 50% of them in this game. This is the biggest one they've had so far.
Third down and 6. Newton, Olsen, touchdown! The Panthers finally break through. After going 0 for 3 in the red zone their previous 3 trips, they break through, and this is a game.
You're going to see Carolina, they motion Ed Dixon from right to left. He sees the defensive back go with him. He knows he's got man-to-man. Olsen gets a good release off the line of scrimmage and gets inside, and Cam Newton makes an excellent throw. A good read on his part, knowing where to go with the football, and finally they hit pay dirt.
Now Cam Newton's moving around better over on that sideline. There's some life for Carolina, as it's a 1-score game now, and with the extra point coming from Graham Gano, and make it a 5-point game, and would if this goes through. 24-19, and Cam Newton and the Panthers say finally, and it's his favorite target, Greg Olsen, in for the score. Along with our producer Richie Zients and our director Rich Russo, it's a 5-point game now with 12:47 left in regulation, and Greg Olsen, who the previous 3 years have been a 1,000-yard receiver at the tight end position, first guy to do that each of those 3 years. Suffered through the foot injury, missed 8 games, 9 games total, as he missed that second meeting here at New Orleans as they rested him because of the turf. But he finds the end zone. This is a 5-point game, and we'll welcome you inside the broadcast booth. I'm Joe Buck, along with the Hall of Famer Troy Aikman. Meanwhile, Minnesota is waiting for the winner of this game. It seemed like everybody all year long was waiting for Case Keenum to fall back down to earth. He never did. He was fun to watch. Thielen, Diggs, good offensive line. There's a lot to like there.
A lot to like. The defense has been great for a number of years. Offensively, the job that Pat Shurmur did this year, putting that group together, is really impressive. And Case Keenum, you know, he's a guy you pull for, and you've said that as well. And a great year the Vikings have had. And they're watching this with a lot of interest, wondering who their next opponent's going to be.
From the 25, Breeze underneath, finds Hill, who's got a touchdown and another very impressive catch. This one more routine, but a catch and run of 15 yards. And Breeze can pick you apart and go anywhere with a football at any time.
Yeah, I think unlike Cam Newton, he's got a lot of options. There's a lot of guys out there that have playmaking ability, and Josh Hill, just another one of those guys. When he stepped in with Fleener going down, this Carolina defense has done a good job on the tandem of Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara, but others have stepped up.
Again, only 31 rush yards by the Saints prior to this handoff to Alvin Kamara. And Kamara gets 4.
We'll see whether or not this defense can make a stop. And in these games in the NFL, and we're watching it here today, it seems like it's just been one-sided throughout the entire game. And New Orleans coming away with touchdowns, Carolina having to settle for field goals, and you just keep playing. And that's the message as coaches you tell these players. And the next thing you know, you look up after a touchdown and you're only 5 points down.
Pass is caught by Willie Snead for a first down with Thompson all over him. Good throw, strong catch, gain of 7. 7 different receiver now that Breeze has found.
And Willie Snead is another one of those guys, you know, a forgotten guy this year. He was 3rd on the team last year with over 70 receptions, and this season he only had 8. So he's certainly a capable guy, but he just has not had the opportunities for a number of reasons this year, but he makes a nice play.
On first down now, Breeze steps into it, throws high and incomplete. Coleman the target.
We don't see that very often. Might be the worst throw I've seen today from Drew Brees, who just sailed it high. He had a chance. But that time Carolina on first down, one of the few times they just didn't load up the box. They played coverage this time, and the opening within that coverage is then down the middle. It's the ball that sailed on Breeze.
Saints have won 7 straight here at home. 4-0 in the postseason here at home under Breeze and Payton. This time it's Kamara losing 2. 3rd and long coming up, and here's that cat and mouse game with a middle linebacker Luke Kuechly and Drew Brees under center for the Saints.
Breeze, and visiting with him on Friday and asking him, all right, we all know what everybody says. You're the guy down there on the field with boots on the ground. Tell us about Luke Kuechly. And he said everything you hear about him is true. He knows what an offense is doing better than any other linebacker. You may get him once on a new look, but you're not going to get him twice. He studies it as hard as anybody.
59 and 58, 59, 58, ready, lady, research.
3rd down and 12. Breeze steps up under pressure. Munnerlyn on the edge. Now with Davis chasing him, Breeze just has to get rid of it. And here's the story of the game so far. Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram average 193 scrimmage yards a game between the two of them. They had 26 touchdowns during the regular season. Today, 59 yards and no scores.
Yeah, and the big plays that they had in these games during the regular season, they haven't had those. This is a big stop now for the first time. Carolina gets the ball, and they get a chance to go take the lead.
Kalen Clay secures the fair catch. Clay on that fair catch was looking for the flag. Looked like he got hit just a bit. No flag on the play. Carolina has it down 5. 2 vets going at it. Davis and Breeze here today. Look at that note. When they've gotten into the postseason, they have been able to get to the next level. The Carolina Panthers, the only team all time to reach the divisional round every time they've gotten into the postseason. They trail by 5. 9:43 left. Starting from their 17, Newton thinking about running it. Gets tripped up. Knocked down at the 20 by Manti Te'o. It's the Big East Wednesday night jam on FS1. Number 5 Xavier, led by Trayvon Blewett, battles Jalen Brunson and number 3 Villanova. Big East Wednesday night jam Wednesday at 7:30 Eastern on FS1, or stream it live on Fox Sports Go. 2nd and 7. Newton in trouble and sacked. First guy there was Tyler Davison. Onyemata was there at the end of it, and Newton got hit hard.
With Tyler Davison, he works across Ryan Khalil, the center, and Cam able to get away from him. You can see right up the gut. Cam trying to get away from him, and then he gets just smashed.
And he's now down on a knee. Looks to be out of it. He was going to the sideline and then just went down.
Well, that was a big time hit as he came around.
It was David Onyemata, who's been getting better and better every week for the Saints. And Davison knocked him down anyway. His knee was down before the hit. But that was a big-time collision with a big body, 6'4", 300 pounds of Onyemata. Meanwhile, their backup, Derek Anderson, he's been battling the flu all week. A guy who was a Pro Bowler early in his career back in 2007, but he's only thrown the ball 8 times all year.
Yeah, he's had very limited work, obviously, and now you come in a playoff game on the road and 3rd and a mile. And, I mean, he's a veteran guy. He's played a lot, although not recently. In his 13th year, a one-possession game. I would think Mike Shula and Ron Rivera would play this pretty close to the vest.
The 34-year-old, 13-year pro Derek Anderson on 3rd and 17. This one's batted down by Jordan. as they tried to get it to McCaffrey in the slot. And it's 4th down.
Good job by Cam Jordan as he pushes up the field. He recognized the set by Derek Anderson. The quick throw, he gets his hand up and makes the play. They force a punt. Saints should get outstanding field position. They're going to make it tough on this Carolina defense.
So Pilardi to punt. Tommy Lee Lewis from inside the 40. Shows his speed and a leap to the 49. 53-yard punt, 12-yard return. Got hit, Cam Newton did. Then went to the sideline. And there's a flag down on the punt. So we'll stay right here. So Anderson forced into
during
duty.
the return of the kick, holding receiving team number 37. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
It's a hold against Arthur Millette. With 8:10 left, it will move the Saints back, but they have the football and a precious 5-point lead. Well, we'll keep our eyes on the right eye of Cam Newton on that sideline. He's got ice up to it. He went into that tent on the sideline to get looked at. Meanwhile, after the punt and then the hold, the ball's back at the 38. It Brees hands to Ingram, who lost a couple. Chris Myers, what are you seeing down on the sideline there with Carolina?
Yeah, Joe, just as you mentioned, when he went into the tent, and the word we're getting is that he wears that plexiglass shield to help so that he doesn't get poked in the eye, but because of that hit, it pushed sideways and did affect one of his eyes. But when he went into that tent, aside from the trainer and the team doctor, they had a neurologist in there, and at this point, he appears to be well enough to come back into the game.
All the hits he takes. Surprising to say, he's missed just 3 games over his 7-year career because of injury. On 2nd down, the pass is caught. Coleman, 1st down.
It's a really good route by Brandon Coleman. As you see the release that he gets, Carolina brings a 5-man rush, and he's able to get to the middle, and Brees hangs in there in the pocket and delivers a good ball. And Coleman is one of those guys who has developed into a heck of a player. He was an undrafted guy out of Rutgers and a big target, especially over the middle of the ball when you're talking about a guy who's 6'6". Not only does he catch the ball well, Joe, but he's very good in the run game as a blocker, and he's done a nice job.
Fake toss. Brees gets around Peppers, throws on the run. He's got Thomas to the 5. Well, they are a handful. 46 big yards to Michael Thomas.
They're going to fake the pitch. You're going to try to get him on the edge. He's got to get out a little wider with Peppers chasing him. Zone coverage in behind. And Thomas just continues across the field, and they turn him loose. They got another receiver going deep, which took the top off the coverage there and created the space for Thomas to work into.
Carolina needing to hold New Orleans to a field goal to keep this a 1-score game. Kamara takes it down just outside the 1. Meanwhile, Drew Brees now has thrown for 353 yards. It's his 7th 300-yard passing day in the postseason.
Well, it's just championship football, and guys like Drew Brees knows what that's about. And think back to the last possession offensively for Carolina. They cut the game to 5 points, and the Saints defensively, with their backs against the wall, momentum shifting, and they make some big stops, give the ball to the offense with great field position, and let Brees do his thing.
Kamara, touchdown. 2 in the league with his 14 total touchdowns. He adds one here on a 2-yard carry.
Well, he hasn't had the big plays. His longest reception is 10 yards. His longest carry is just 5. But tell you what, he impacts a game with all the things that he's capable of doing. And a lot of discussion about who your rookie of the year is going to be offensively. And I've got a vote in that category, and he got my vote.
Meanwhile, Senio Clemente, who's filling in for the injured Andrus Peat, was seated a moment ago, now gets up and limps off the field. So the offensive line getting pretty thin here for the Saints, who lead by 11 with the extra point to come. Airheads, they pass them out on the bench.
That's right.
It's Kamara's favorite candy. And it's a 12-point game again. While they feast on Airheads, we'll give you that completion to Michael Thomas.
Here's a safety here, and you know, with this action, he's playing deep middle, and then they run a receiver through the middle, and it opens up that right side for the offense for Michael Thomas then to work across the field. You just got to have time to do it, but with Breeze outside the pocket, he's able to buy the time. This is a big play offense. It has been all season long. They're first in the league in plays of 20 yards or more, and they needed one. This game had gotten awfully tight. Needed to extend their lead, and what a great job of finishing the drive with Alvin Kamara.
See that bottom line, that was the catch, 46-yarder. Michael Thomas, brilliant second-year receiver. And the terrific rookie, Alvin Kamara, took it in. The lead back to 12, 5:08 to go. Carolina with 3 timeouts in their pocket. As Lutz forces Whitaker to take a knee.
We talk about the big plays by New Orleans and what they've been doing all season long. Big plays are hard to come by for Carolina, and that's understandable with the way that they are built. And so expect Cam Newton to start having to force some throws with just over 5 minutes to play, down a couple possessions. They're going to have to try to get some chunks.
Flag down. Somehow Newton stays up, throws for Clay. He gets interfered with by Crawley. So there are 2 separate fouls on this play.
Well, I think the first flag in the backfield may go against Trey Turner, the right guard. And then number 70, he gets a hold of Sheldon Rankins. That's where the first flag came in.
And then down the field at the end of it, Crawley.
There are fouls against both teams that will allow the play to be offset. Holding, offense number 70. Pass interference, defense number 20. By rule, these penalties offset, replay, first down.
So back to the 25, 1st and 10. With under 5 to go. Pass is caught. That's Funchess out to the 44. And there's a big chunk for the Carolina offense. Marcus Williams on the stop, a gain of 19.
That's just what his 3rd reception of the game. And like I said, Marshawn Lattimore, he's been shadowing him everywhere he goes. You see number 23 working across to get aligned on him. Overall, he's held up pretty well.
Double move, Funchess the target, and this one sails out of bounds. Funchess initially took off when Carolina made the deal and sent Benjamin up to the Buffalo Bills. Had a good month of November, but in December averaged just over 2.5 catches a game, under 40 yards a game, and had only one catch of 25 or more yards. You see that left arm hanging. He's been bothered by a bad shoulder, and he's just not healthy.
He's not at all, and what these guys go through to play, he's got a significant injury.
On second down, pass is caught. That is McCaffrey, and in the foot race, McCaffrey to the end zone. A dome silencer from Cam Newton to Christian McCaffrey. And it's a game again, 56 yards for the touchdown.
I tell you what, coaches could use this as a teaching tool on how to run an option route out of the backfield. This setup, when he comes out, he gets going north and south, and you're going to see the move that he makes right at the top, and he completely gets Robertson to jump the outside route. He comes underneath and just nobody there, and it's a foot race, and that is a great job, and there's a lot of football left in this one.
Longest play of the game for Carolina. It's 56 yards, and it's the rookie that says, don't forget about me. Well, we're talking on and on about Kamara and the rookie running back for the Saints. It's the young man from Stanford who takes it in from 56 yards away. And that's got Kuechly up and trying to rally his defensive teammates.
Well, they got to come up and make a stop. I mean, so many times this defense has made the plays when they've had to make the plays. And they've been able to create the takeaways, and they've scored touchdowns. And they got quite a resume over the years, Luke Kuechly and so many of these others who have been a part of it. And the offense just went down and answered. And they now made it a 5-point game, and now it's up to this defense to make a stop, or better yet, create a takeaway.
Cam's over 300 for the game. Newton, McCaffrey over 100 now. Olsen over 100. Saints are guarding against an onside kick. There would be no need to do it here, as Gano will drive it out of the back of the end zone. So with 4:09 to go, the Saints go back on offense. This has become a shootout between New Orleans and Carolina at the end of Wild Card weekend.
Yeah, this has been a lot of fun. Like I say, Carolina, they just kept playing. A lot of disappointment, a lot of things working against them, and Cam Newton and this group just kept playing, and we'll see whether or not this defense can come up with a play themselves.
Senio Clemente is back out there for the Saints. Saw him limp away last time New Orleans had it.
Ready. You ready? What's that?
Pass is caught by the fullback line. The clock will continue to run as Line gets it across the 30. Good for 7. Shaq Thompson in coverage.
That's the accuracy of Drew Brees that doesn't show up on the stat sheet at the end of this ball game, but he gets the ball to Zach Line on the move, and it's a perfectly thrown ball. He catches it on the run and picks up a nice gain. They'd like to be able to run the ball and run this clock down, but they have not been able to do that. They have not been able to dominate the line of scrimmage and get Ingram and Kamara going to where they can play that game that they're used to playing this year. So they go to the conservative pass, the high percentage play, and Brees puts it on him perfectly.
Like a long handoff. Now they run it with Ingram, and Ingram is knocked down by Mike Adams. A loss of 3 on the play, and the Saints have run the ball for only 34 yards in this game.
Well, this is pretty good when nobody picks you up, and he's got a free run into the backfield, and yeah, they've smothered the run game. They really have. That was the MO coming in by defensive coordinator Steve Wilks, and then the question became, all right, if you can control the run game, can you cover them up and get pressure on Brees? That's where they have struggled. But they have gotten the Saints now into 3rd and 6. We'll see what Wilks wants to do. Typically, this is when he wants to bring pressure. But Drew Brees, most veteran quarterbacks want to see the blitz. They want to know they've got one-on-one and let their guy win. So you got to be smart when you're coming after him. You get the ball out quick with only 6 yards to go. There's Steve Wilks right here. With only 6 yards to go, you can get the ball out, force the ball out, but you can still pick up the first down if you're Drew Brees in this offense.
Extra man on the rush. Pass is caught. What a beautiful throw. And Michael Thomas spinning makes the grab. I mean, you just can't throw it any better, can you?
You can't, and you just can't adjust to the football. And it goes back to the catch we saw Josh Hill make earlier, that they throw these types of plays every day in practice. I've seen it, where Brees will throw an errant throw. It's not errant. He's throwing it there because he wants these receivers to get used to making those adjustments in the game. And I marveled at it the first time I watched him, because he can put the ball anywhere he wants to. And these guys get accustomed to making those types of plays. That's excellent job by those 2 guys.
8 catches, 131 yards for Thomas. Here's Kamara. Thompson on the stop. And I know the throw is in that position where it causes Thomas to spin, but he's putting it in a spot where the defender can't even get close to it.
Oh, he put it right where he wanted to put it. And then you trust that a guy like Michael Thomas can make the necessary adjustment to make a play. And it goes back to what I said earlier. You don't complete 72% of your passes unless you've got guys making plays on the football like this. This is demoralizing for any defense, and Captain Munnerlyn, who was running stride for stride, but there's no defense for that.
Carolina has used 2 timeouts now defensively on this drive. And if the Saints keep picking up first downs, they can board a plane for Minneapolis. That'll happen next weekend. The game is on Sunday. Panthers looking for a stop. 2nd and 5.
You ready? What's that?
They run it with Ingram. 3rd down coming. And Carolina uses its final timeout. So the next stoppage will come on either an incompletion or the 2-minute warning.
A lot of times in a situation like this, you'd say, well, they're probably just going to hand the ball off and get it to the 2-minute warning. Hopefully they pick up the first down, and if not, then, you know, play defense. But I don't think you necessarily do that with Drew Brees as your quarterback.
Remember, the Saints, 2 games this year, have rushed for 149, 148 yards against Carolina's defense. They've rushed for 42 to this point. I'm with you. I wouldn't be stunned to see him throw it.
They might go bootleg here.
Ready? What's that?
3rd down and 2. Kamara gets swallowed up. First guy there was Peppers, the vet. And that'll take us to the 2-minute warning. It'll be 4th down, and Carolina defensively, it looks like, just got the ball back for their offense.
Yeah, they got the penetration with Julius Peppers in the backfield, and that's a great stop on 3rd down.
By the 37-year-old vet. Cam's going to get another chance. 2 minutes left in New Orleans. Well, if he's got the guts to try an onside kick at the start of the second half of a Super Bowl, maybe he's got the guts to go for it here. But I think you and I believe he'll just try to draw Carolina offside.
Yeah, I can't imagine that they'll snap this ball.
Ready, Blue 90? What's that?
And the other giveaway, Joe, was the entire time while we were at commercial break, Sean was looking at his play sheet, but Drew Brees was out there on the field. And if they were going to go for it here on 4th down, which he would have some brass something or another, but you know, he would be over there talking to Sean Payton on the sidelines, going over the call. So it's worth a shot, but
he's still talking to his offense. Is he going to go? I mean, here's the situation. You've got a Carolina team that has no timeouts. They'd have to get into the end zone. And if you don't get it here, you're handing the ball to Carolina basically at midfield, and you're taking the time issue off the board.
And the odds of scoring a touchdown from midfield go up dramatically from where they are when you're backed up.
They're going to go. 4th down and 2. Breeze throws. Pass is picked. And they are going to give the interception to Mike Adams.
Been better off just knocking the ball down.
Yeah, you would have had much better field position by just knocking it down. But the call right now is interception.
Ruling on the field is an interception. The defensive player then fumbled the ball forward and out of bounds. The ball will be brought back to the spot of the fumble. Carolina's ball, 1st down.
Adams is the one who made the interception. Here's the throw by Breeze. It was up for grabs, and the veteran, instead of just knocking it down, ends up with the interception, and it costs 16 yards of field position.
You see that a lot. I mean, you see it a lot more than you should, especially for a veteran player. If you knock that down, you get the ball at the line of scrimmage, but yet they made a stop. And Cam Newton has an opportunity right now, and we'll see whether or not this Saints defense can get their head coach off the hook.
Newton in the pocket, throws, pass is caught by Funchess in midfield. Working on the rookie Marshawn Lattimore, and Devin Funchess, bad shoulder and all, good for 19.
He's essentially playing with one arm, and that's not an easy catch. Very much contested. He goes up strong and makes the play.
No timeouts left for Carolina. Here's Olsen, and with that tackle, that keeps the clock running. Good strong tackle by Crawley before Olsen can get out of bounds. And a gain of just 3. That was a big play. Newton. Pass is to Clay. Was he in bounds? He was. Catch is made at the 26. 21-yard completion. There's the catch. There are the feet. Good call.
Good job. I thought he was out of bounds in real time and just able to get the feet down. Cam late on the throw, but has enough arm strength to drive it.
Now a 21-yarder. Newton throws it away. Remember the chip shot that was missed early by Graham Gano. 25-yarder, his first try of the day. A guy who had made 17 straight. His only miss had come from 55 yards this season. And a chip shot, less than an extra point, he pushed wide right. That looms large now.
It does. We'll see what New Orleans wants to do defensively, if they're going to play coverage or not. If they do, they either got to drive the ball like he did a moment ago to Kalen Clay, or they've got to work the middle of the field. Right now, it looks like they're going to have to work the middle.
Newton to the end zone. Incomplete, and the flag is down for something that happened prior to the ball getting to the end zone. McCaffrey was the target. The flag is back at the 13.
Holding, defense, a 5-yard penalty, and an automatic 1st down.
So it'll be 1st down with 46 seconds left.
Got the hold there. It was against McCaffrey
by Raphael Bush.
Yeah, it's a good call. Keep an eye on Greg Olsen. He's in the slot, and this is the guy, the big target that Cam likes to look for. Usually that's Burson there in the slot, 11. Here's Olsen here.
Newton gets hit. Pass is broken up. Funchess the target, and there's the rookie Lattimore, who could very well be the defensive rookie of the year, in position to break it up.
Well, he had a chance. He had a chance, and Funchess got inside leverage, but it's this inside pressure that kept Newton from being able to deliver the ball where he needed to deliver it.
Lattimore had 5 picks during the regular season. Another hit on Cam Newton, 11 in the game. Sacked 3 times. 2nd and 10. Newton just throws it away with Cam Jordan all over him, and a flag for grounding. Newton pleads his case. Here's the call.
Intentional grounding. Offense, number 1. Carries a loss of down. It'll be 3rd down at the spot where he threw the pass.
And that moves the ball all the way back to the 34.
And there's got to be a run off the clock of 10 seconds, and McCaffrey gets run over by Cam Jordan, and he is in the pocket. He's in the pocket and just trying to unload it. I think it's a good call.
There's Cam Jordan making his presence felt yet again as Ron Rivera tries to plead his case.
How about Cam Jordan, though? He's got 2 guys. McCaffrey, he stays in to help shore things up, and he goes right through him.
There are 34 seconds left on the clock. Mike Pereira.
Intentional grounding carries a 10-second runoff, and I think you can see the alternates run out in the field right now to get this shut down.
But Sean
because
Payton,
they're just now going to discuss with Tony that this has to carry this 10-second runoff, so they really should take it down to 24 seconds and then start the clock, by the way, and ready.
Boy, that was a save by the alternate official.
By rule, this intentional grounding foul requires that 10 seconds to be run off the game clock, and the clock will start on my signal.
Well, you called it, Mike, and it was that alternate official that came running on and said, whoa, you forgot the runoff.
That was New York calling, I think.
I was going to say, I think they got a call from New York, and they barely got out there in time.
And it's important to know now that the clock is going to start on the ready for play, not when the ball is snapped.
They reset the play clock on that last play, a loss of 13 yards, a down and 10 seconds, and it's running. 20 seconds left. 3rd and 23. Newton to the end zone. Funchess, the target. No flag. It's incomplete. It's 4th down. Von Bell defending.
I tell you, Funchess, he just couldn't put his foot in the ground when he gets. You get going that way, and then if he's able to stop and just drive back to the ball, and he had a chance. Von Bell, he clearly overruns it, but Funchess just not able to transition back to the football.
Coming up next, the State Farm postgame show, but not before the biggest play of the game. 4th and 23. Blitz, a sack, Saints win. Von Bell got home. There are a few seconds left on the clock. We'll have one more snap, but the Saints are going to move on for a date with the Vikings.
Well, Von Bell is going to come off the left side. He's got the free run, and Cam Jordan, he got right past Darrell Williams too. Both those guys right back there in the backfield, and what a finish. And Ron Rivera, you got to believe he's still arguing the intentional grounding call, which changed everything.
This sack, in essence, ends the ball game. One more snap to come. The ball is at the 49. And the clock stopped with a change of possession as the Panthers turn it over on downs. That's it. Saints win 31-26. And on to the Vikings they go. What a fight here today between the Panthers and the Saints. And it should be a lot of fun next Sunday with Sean Payton's New Orleans Saints and Mike Zimmer's Minnesota Vikings. State Farm postgame show coming up. The guys in the studio on the other side of the break. What a game in the Big Easy. It was anything but.